It's very late in the day, and I feel like if I take too long, it's just gonna be way too late. But I'm gonna talk about. I've talked briefly about all of these subjects throughout like multiple videos for quite a while, so you could have noticed these if you've been here long enough. But I don't think I ever fully went this much deep into it or like really paid as much attention. In the past, I would call myself a masochist just because I felt like pain was better. Like I wanted it. Like, not the way that most people think a masochist is, like where it's pleasure out of physical pain. I don't understand that. It's weird. I just mean that I would prefer it. And how I feel about it, like, if something bad is happening to me at a certain time, I'm not even gonna, like, try and hope for it to stop. I keep randomly, like, I guess fantasizing about everyone close to me in life just drifting away, and then because, like, I do something wrong, and then I'm just left as like some sort of depressed loner with like no one to talk to about my problems. But if that were actually the case, and I felt like I had absolutely no one to talk to, I would genuinely go insane because I don't do well alone. But I do feel lonely a lot still. It's just I'm used to pain is what I think it is. It feels weird not to be there. Like, the more I was thinking about it in my head, the more I was thinking like maybe it's a fear of change. But it doesn't entirely feel that way. It's like I'm it's like life only becomes interesting and worth living when you have struggle to overcome. But when you're not able to overcome struggle and you're just stuck there, that is just life at that point. So it just feels more normal to me to be in struggle, and it feels weird for good things to happen, and I don't like when they happen. I just prefer to stay where I'm at just so I can keep living that way. It's like I feel like every single adult or authority figure in my life looks down upon me. Like they see me as like worthless, or like I'm not gonna really amount to anything in the future, or like I'm just some untrustworthy juvenile. Like a lot of people don't seem to trust me very much at all. And it's weird. How do I describe it? It's like I don't have like a lot of validation at all. I'm just left to feel like I don't really have a sense of self-worth. Like I know I do a lot of things that people wish they could do, because sometimes I'll like draw something and my friends are like, "You can draw things. Like you're pretty good at that. That's cool." And like they'll give like requests for me to do things. Now I even get friends that are like, "Those are some like cool instruments you play. I like that. That's pretty cool." It really hurts when I be like so self-detrimental, and then to like my like there's this one friend I get on calls with every now and then. I will talk about my problems with him occasionally. I hate when I'll get like so self-deprecating to him, and he's just like, "You do a lot of stuff. Like you write and draw a lot. You play like a bunch of those instruments. I can't do that. I got cerebral palsy." I was just like, man, I wish I were you. I hate that. But even with such things, like I know I do desirable things, but it feels weird to get validation. I just don't feel it's right. It doesn't feel correct. It just feels more correct to be like persecuted or like just unwanted generally. That's where I would that's where I kind of prefer to be now, just cuz like it feels weird to be anywhere else. In my theater class, what we do is like there will be two productions. The first one, there will be two plays, and then right after that usually just one play because we only have time to really learn that. So last semester, um, we had the two plays. I was casted in both, and that felt very special to me because I already didn't feel like I was doing very well. So it was weird to me to think that like one of the plays, the teacher even, my theater teacher even said these were people that he thought were like bound for drama 4 very soon, very close, which is like the highest theater class. So that felt very special when I found out I was in that, and then I found out I was in the other one at the exact same time. Like I felt like he saw potential in me. Is what it was. Like I didn't necessarily think he thought I was too good yet, but I just felt like he saw potential in me. And right after that, we were supposed to do just one play, but we had too many people, so he did two 10-minute plays before it that were like duo acts, and I was in one of them, so I felt like I was still being put into like a very special case. So it still felt very nice. And this semester, I'm putting both plays again during our like current first production this semester. So like it feels really special to me. I can't really say similar things about my other classes. They're ordinary. Like my second block teacher tolerates me. I'm chill with my third block teacher. My fourth block teacher does not like me at all. So I can't really say the same thing. So I feel like if I were given like proper validation, I wouldn't feel the need to continue thinking about it very much. It'd feel normal. But it's the fact I get this one authority figure throughout this period in my life that actually seems to give a hint of like actually seeing something in me and like being proud in some sort of way. I think about it in my head a lot, and I constantly think if I keep telling people like, oh, I think my theater teacher sees like a lot of potential in me. I'm doing really good in the class because I'm in both plays. That's really good. And I was like that last semester too. I keep saying things like that. It just sounds like I'm boastful now. It sounds like I'm being arrogant. And if people already find me untrustworthy and they don't like me already, it's bad to just add on that I seem so arrogant and narcissistic from that. Like, oh, I'm so good at this stuff. I'm doing so well. When I already don't think I'm going to amount to anything in my future. I don't know what I'm doing. Most of my friends, I'll tell my friends, like, I don't even know if I'm going to college. They'll be like, yeah, I'm not sure either. All of those friends still have, like, a vague plan of what they're going to do past high school. I don't. I'm going to slightly peak in high school, and then everything's downhill from there. I don't know what I'm doing after this. So like if I brag about this one thing that I'm actually able to brag about in some sort of way, like I'm not even trying to brag, but it's just I find it interesting to myself and I'm like vaguely proud of it. So I really want to talk about it, but if I keep talking about it, then like it's gonna give the wrong idea to people who already don't like me. And like I don't have anything else to brag about, so I'm just gonna constantly talk about this one thing if I ever get put back on the topic. It's gonna keep happening. It's like horrible. I feel like there's a lot of things that would give people like the wrong idea about me. Like if I tell people I'm a queer, they're just gonna think I only like dudes and that's the end of it, or they're just gonna, or like saying I'm genderqueer, they just call me a twink and a femboy every single time I tell them I'm like genderqueer or something, because like people always get the wrong idea of every small thing about me. I say I'm Hispanic, they're like, oh, you're a Mexican? Wow, what part of Mexico are you from? I'm not Mexican. Or like, if I tell people I'm pagan, they're just gonna think I'm in a cult. That's the thing. People just view pagans as just like cultists. So like any minor thing I tell people about, they're gonna get the wrong idea about it every time. I don't have a lot to be proud of at all. And I really am not proud of myself because I don't know where I'm headed either. What is there to really be proud of? Like, what am I doing past high school? I don't have any sort of like career ideas in my head. I don't even have like college plans. I don't know what I would do in college. That's the whole thing. College is for like stuff that I don't like. Way too formal and corporate stuff. I don't like that stuff, and I don't even know what I would take in college. So like, I just really don't want to do it. I just don't see a point to it, in my own perspective. But like, it's not even like, oh, all the greats were like college dropouts or didn't go, so I'd be fine. I don't even think I'm gonna be like them. I'm not headed for such careers. Like, I know I do acting and I play instruments and I draw and I write. None of that matters. I don't think I'm gonna get careers in any of those because that's just unrealistic. Because none of the greats that were in those started with that. Those were always like secondary things that they did on the side until they knew they were able to support themselves with it. I'm not starting off that. I have nowhere to really go from here, honestly. So, like, it's not that I'm, like, I've kind of given up on my unrealistic ideas, like wanting to be in a band or wanting to be an actor. I don't really view those as realistic. No one ever seems to think it's, like, worth it. As far as, like, everyone that I've asked about it. No one really seems to understand, like, seems to, like, think this is really a good idea. But past that, what am I supposed to do? I don't even know how I'm supposed to start this stuff. How do you become an actor? How does that happen? How do you start a band and, like, actually get successful? Those were just unrealistic from the start, from the get-go. What was I supposed to do with those? If I talked to my younger self as of a few years ago like this, I'd be arguing with them. They'd be talking about ways it would work and like how I should be doing it because like what else am I supposed to be doing? I wanted to break the stereotype of the lazy and unintelligent Hispanic by being successful, and here I am on this channel talking about recent like depression, wanting to go back into like bad habits, like not thinking I'm gonna have any career or future for myself. I'm just going right back into the stereotypes. I'd be arguing with my younger self constantly, like, no, it's not gonna work, and here's why. And they're just gonna keep saying, do this, do that. That's how it would work. And I'm just gonna say, like, that's not realistic. And they're gonna keep making ideas that to them make sense. They're not even gonna repeat this stuff. They're gonna keep saying stuff that actually works. And then I'm gonna show why it doesn't work constantly. It's just never gonna end. I'm not going anywhere. I'm like Jesse Pinkman, but just less cool. Yeah. It's a weird thing to end this off on. Like, that idea of just, like, being put into the stereotype, like, the untrustworthy juvenile who's not gonna amount to much. I feel like that's just generally where I'm headed because like everyone else is already putting me into that, so it's just becoming a lot easier to just be that. I just feel like I am that now because that's what everyone else thinks. Because like all the authority figures in my life and all the adults who look down on me, they all generally just think I'm not gonna amount to much, and because of that, like I don't think I'm gonna amount to much either. That's the thing. So if they're gonna place me as like a juvenile who doesn't care about anything, that's just where I'm gonna be. Just because I don't think I'm headed for much, and they don't think so either. So if they place me as just an uncaring juvenile, I'm gonna be stuck being an uncaring juvenile. That's just where I gotta be. I just gotta act like I don't care about any of this stuff, because the more it happens, the more I'm actually just not gonna care about any of this stuff. It's just gonna be harder for me to really realize I can do anything for myself. I already forgot some of the stuff I said on the last recording. But like, My my fourth block teacher, that one really doesn't like me. Um, a few days ago, it was dismissal. Everyone was leaving the class, and the teacher made me stay for a bit longer when everyone else had already left by then, and pretty much didn't let me leave. And I was stuck there with my teacher, like, pretty much cornering me to a wall because my seat was in the very back of the class. So I was essentially like cornered into the wall. I had no way to walk past this person. And they were like very imposing when they were doing this. But I was, at the same time, I was also thinking, is she trying to intimidate me or something? What is this? So like part of me was genuinely being an uncaring juvenile who didn't really care about this. It was like, what the hell is going on? But the other part was like concerned and worried, like, what's happening right now? So I was cornered and she was giving like this stern talk about how, things I'm doing that she doesn't appreciate, things she doesn't like that I do, and like what's bad about this stuff, what's wrong with it all. And well, I tried to seem on the outside like I just didn't care, like this is all normal to me because I'm just an uncaring juvenile now. On the inside, I was very upset about this and scared because the way she was talking was actually very similar to how my mother talks to me when she's generally upset, but like especially when she's upset with me. It really reminded me of that in the moment. Which is what really got me scared because every time my mother does that, I always get the feeling she's like about to slap me or like hit me in some sort of way if I push her too far. I get scared of that every single time. Just because it's like a very similar state of mind she had back when I was in the 6th grade, and she finally started realizing she could be a bit stern on me, while also realizing she didn't have to baby me at all because I was getting older. So it was a really bad state of mind that she was in and putting towards me. She would talk to me really upset a lot, and like that's the time when she would get so upset, she would slap me and hit me, and I felt like I was being abused. I just didn't realize that, like, no matter how small the amount of occurrences, the actual physical stuff was happening, it was still, it would still be considered abuse in some sort of way. It's just, to me, it doesn't feel that way. Everything bad about my life doesn't feel right. I describe this all the time, and everyone's just like saying I'm actually abused and neglected, and that I especially was back then. But to me, I don't feel that way because I wasn't taught to view it in such a way, especially back then when it actually happened. So if I don't view it like that back then, I'm not going to view it like that in the diluted future. But that's what happened. And I was really scared back then. So whenever my mother continues talking like that and thinking the way she does, because like now I clearly know she's not proud of me, and she also knows I'm not gonna amount to much. She's started to figure out I don't have plans for college and that I don't have goals for the future, or at the very least realistic ones. She knows that. That's what she said, and it's like. So when my teachers and various other authority figures think similar things, and then I get that one teacher talking to me in a very similar way, very imposing, it really scared me, because that's what happens now with my mother. I'm realizing, like, she would hit me, not out of the sense that she owns me, but in the sense that, no, she would talk to me like she owns me. But if she were to hit me, it would be in the sense that I'm just another person grown up enough to deal with this stuff, who she'd be willingly able to hit if she were mad enough. So, in such case, I have to realize I have no way to get out of it. Therefore, I cannot act like her child. So if she's mad at me, I'll try to keep calm. Maybe even ignore her. Just see where it goes. And I get the sudden urge to just see if I can push her. I never do it just because I don't know how to, or like what's a good time to do it. I really want to mess with her though. See where it goes. Because when we really start to argue, I constantly think, hit me already. Do it. I'm waiting for it. When's it gonna happen? So it's in such a case that I have to act like sometimes that I just don't care. And it was in that time with my teacher, I had to act like I just don't care. This just happens and this is fine to me. Because this is where I'm at. I'm being boxed in by everyone as the archetype of just the juvenile who doesn't care about anything and doesn't have a future. That's where I'm boxed in. And it becomes a lot easier to act in it when I'm forced into playing it for so long. Because now, that's all I know. That's what I am now. I'm an archetype. If I disappeared the next day, those people would not care. Just because I'm like a burden until I'm gone. That's all I am. I don't have a future. So if it all ended right now and I didn't see a future, it's not going to make much of a change. You know that cheesy line people say, I'm here for a good time, not for a long time? I think in similar ways like that a lot. Like, I don't want anything about the struggle to change, or that feeling that, like, I'm not going to live too long or amount too much in the future. I don't want it to change. I feel ordinary how I am right now with all the struggle. Therefore, I constantly feel like I just want small things in between that'll, like, distract me rather than long-term things that'll change everything. For any of you that have seen some of the videos in the past, you might get a little bit worried to hear I'm planning on going to another metal concert on Friday, because they happen most Fridays. You'll be very concerned if you've heard those other videos about my old habits and then hear what happens at those concerts at, like, the same venue I go to. One day everything's gonna end unexpectedly. And you guys will know exactly how it happened. I don't plan on anything like that though, that's the thing. But if it happens, it happens. Yeah, that concert's probably gonna be pretty fun. It was pretty fun last time. So I'm looking forward to that.